Let's do it. Oh, choose our clan. Alright, so my character is technically from Vampire the Requiem, which is an offshoot of Vampire the Masquerade. The clan she's in are called the 𝒂𝒹𝒾𝒶. Now, the 𝒂𝒹𝒾 are equivalent to the Toreador, if you're familiar with the original Masquerade. So we've got a Bruja, which for me oh, look! OPA! 𝒂𝒹𝒾𝒶 for Vampire the Requiem. The Venture the same? Well, let's read them. So, the Bruja, a rabble rebel against power and rage against authority. A seemingly insignificant man with significant ideas will join their ranks tonight. Look at the... I love the piercings. Venture. The aristocratic blue bloods embody wealth, sovereignty, and control. A top-level corporate executive will join their ranks tonight. Let this be the Toreador. Yes. The divas seek thrills of art, romance, and cruelty amidst stagnant death. A tormented artist will join their ranks tonight. Well, I've never played this before, but I am very excited to give it a go. Alright, I have to do Toreador. As a 𝒂𝒹𝒾, I'm almost legally obligated. Choose my name. Just gonna put mine in. Oh, I should have done Belethine. What am I thinking? New York taught me to believe in fate. Oh, okay. This is too big. I know I said I wanted big, but this is too big. Had you asked me about fate back when I was a human, I would have told you it's all just superstitious bullshit. That we're all designers of our own destinies. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not the face you could have seen in the papers, of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing in right now, by the way. Fate? You decide. Please. There's absolutely no need to be hostile. Just listen a little longer. See, my mistake was that I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see its glow again. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit. I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and a spark in my eye. The one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided that would fit me much better. She was a 9th generation kindred, just like you. An apex predator. She probably enjoyed teaching me the peak of human excellence. My real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth braggart and see them for all they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Well, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate. A message saying, you're eternally doomed to be at the mercy of your sovereigns. It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom. It was a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it if given the right tools. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys, and me, just her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. You might have wondered, I've learned about your arrival to JFK Airport. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be a day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the playing and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for that. But it's so rare for you to visit New York. 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you're never eager to inform me you're here. I understand you still have that meeting on 53rd Street later tonight, so I'll provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much, don't get me wrong. But it is precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favor you owe me. You're the only one I'd trust to do the job well, and without attracting attention. You might think I'm crazy, asking you to breach the rules of our society like this. You might think it's impossible to get away with it unpunished. But this is New York. And I don't know about other cities, but in this one, fate really exists. And right now, it's smiling in your favor. This is how it begins. You stifle a yawn. It's been a slow evening. A little bit of red liquid left in your glass, and the crumbs on the plate remind you that, if nothing else, these art exhibitions at least come with some decent wine and legit catering. And yeah, it's fun to talk about your work on display, even if you end up discussing it with pretty much the same people at each such occasion. You've already met that one critic who keeps telling you, with self-assured authority, how you should pursue a different artistic avenue. And then there's the obligatory doe-eyed art student who's oh so impressed with your technique. To be fair, you're not all that happy with your latest piece, but hey, it's not the worst thing you've seen tonight. That ignoble, dubious honor belongs to one of the other paintings on display. And yet, its author, currently being paraded around by his rich parents, has barely been able to grab a bite of the fancy canapes. So many sycophants to meet, so little time. For a moment, you think that maybe it's not worth it. Maybe you should take the critic's advice, cut your losses, sell out to some corporation, and get it over with. As if the universe wanted to validate that train of thought. That's the exact moment your sister Emma decides to pop up in your view. I should have named myself Belle. So let me get this straight. Cushy corporate jobs are selling out, but supporting a billionaire's vanity project is totally fine with you. Hi, you absolutely despise her as an artist. While you're struggling to uphold some nebulous ideals of what art is meant to be, she's perfecting her ways of mooching off the system. Shamelessly preying on little-known street art and niche internet memes, she repackages them as bougie-friendly collages. So, it's perhaps no wonder the NYT has recently dubbed her a mind-blowing explorer of digital art's extreme possibilities. But in spite of all that, you absolutely love her as a person, even as you welcome her by smacking the back of her head, a gesture meant to convey nothing but deep affection. No, but seriously, supporting young artists my ass. I don't know what kind of money you got for this piece, but I doubt it was even a fraction of what it's going to be worth in tax benefits. The gallery owner actually said that if he had to choose his most valuable audience, it would be the IRS, and I'm pretty sure he was only half kidding. You mumble a non-answer, and then segue into a different subject, trying to preemptively quell her repeated offers to get you a steady job. Of course, she proves as insistent as ever. You know, sometimes I just don't get you. On the one hand, you wouldn't be caught dead taking money from the inevitable winner of the culture wars. On the other, if someone gave you the chance to collaborate on some dumbass Oscar bait flick sponsored by Larry Ellison's bailout fund, you do that shit for free. She rolls her eyes and asks, you know what the only difference is between the art scene and the culture industry? The culture industry actually pays your bills. As expected of someone who's given up on attempts to infuse her work with any sort of enduring quality and decided to just keep responding to the zeitgeist. She claims to happily accept the fact that, after she dies, both she and her work will end up in a landfill. When you respond that you prefer chasing a 1 in a million chance to immortalize yourself, she claims it reeks of an overinflated ego. But you've been down this road too many times before and managed to accept. She'll never understand what's truly important to you. Slowly but surely, you move on to more agreeable topics. Your plans to finally get Hammond together, or the most recent crop of garbage Netflix shows your friends have tricked you into trying out. Alright, gotta go, I have to go to date. She peeks at a bunch of middle-aged men in expensive suits who stopped pretending to care about the exhibition and are exchanging the worst lecherous jokes they've got in their stale repertoire. Have fun with your friends, class traitor. She gives you a hug and heads for a nearby elevator. There goes the pleasant part of the evening. Still, you decide to delay the inevitable and catch a quick smoke break. Truth be told, people aren't exactly lining up to chat about your work anyway. As you leave your post, you start tapping your pockets in search of a lighter. Instead, you find a $100 bill you're absolutely sure wasn't there before. Jesus Christ, Em, you're the worst. And the best. You can feel your cheeks turn red, but you gratefully put the money in your wallet and move outside. Wow, that view, though! It's so nice. You're alone. It's not silent. The metropolitan hum is ever present, even this high up. But it's a good deal more intimate than what's behind your back. You lean over the railing and look down. The street lights beckon more than usual. In your mind's eye, you see yourself as your final artwork. Beautifully splattered all over the pavement. Working title, Delusions of Grandeur. The author, a brilliant artistic soul, crushed by unfeeling reality, gone too soon. You chuckle and flick the cigarette into the air. Freshened up by the night's cool breeze, you squeeze back into the stuffy interior. You barely make it a few steps before lethargy sets back in. It's like you never left. Still, something in the room feels different. Your eyes are drawn to a handsome young man, neatly dressed and groomed, exuding the air of a true artiste. And the best part? He's intently looking at your painting. The gallery is almost like an art installation itself now. People standing in silent awe. The guy like a beacon, drawing everyone's attention. Okay, I'm calling it. He's a toreador, and he is literally using the ability that's called awe. So it's the first stage in the Majesty Tree. And so the Majesty Tree kind of operates as, think like Charm Person from D&D. When you pop awe, when you use the ability, it makes everyone in your direct vicinity turn to look, to admire. Think of it like being a micro celebrity in a room full of people who recognize you. Everyone's twittering a little bit. People get their camera phones out. They want to be seen by you. They want to like you. And there's this aura of power and influence and importance that you exude on a very small scale. Now, granted, I'm giving the mechanics from Vampire the Requiem. Don't forget, I don't play Vampire the Masquerade at the table. I play Requiem. So that's how it works in that system. Hushed conversations about the guest can be heard from every corner of the gallery. Your heart is pounding with excitement. And you approach, feeling like a kid trying to get close to a deer in the woods, but afraid you'll scare it away. The man turns to you, and you stop in your tracks, entranced. Ooh, look at him with his pipe. Oh no, we gotta get a voice for this one. So this is one of your pieces. You managed to mumble an affirmation. Tell me about it, please. As you start discussing your inspiration, technique, and process, the man's eyes lock onto the painting again. He keeps interjecting, making knowing remarks. This guy gets it. He really gets it. The world around you disappears. You'll say anything, do anything to keep his attention on you. But you realize you don't need to. He's into your art. He's into you. I want to buy it, and I want your company. I need to talk to you. You will like what I have to say. Spoken matter-of-factly, served straight up, like he knows that you won't refuse. That you can't refuse. An hour later, you find yourself at his apartment. One of many, you presume. With your self-esteem all but patched up and your head full of fine vintage. You tell your host a lot. In fact, it seems like you're telling him everything. Where you came from, how you ended up in NYC, how you had to take out a loan to appear at tonight's event. How you took the long look down the balcony. That you thought about taking the plunge, and this time you were only half joking. You feel miserable. You start crying. He holds you in his arms, and you feel calmer. The tears stop flowing. It's been so long since you last had someone you could not just talk to, but communicate with, be seen by. Who knows? maybe there's hope for you yet. That feeling of bliss is the last thing you remember before passing out. Next thing you know, you're lying on the couch in that same apartment, hungry and dehydrated, but how long has it been? Hours? Days? More? You're feeling weak, confused, abandoned. You look around in a panic. Is he still here? Oh, thank God. Yes, there he is, standing in the doorway. His voice breaks the silence and fills you with hope, until you realize what he's saying. I'm so sorry. I hope that maybe one night you will forgive me. Always remember that in our parting moment, I wished you well. You try to speak, ask him to stay, but no voice leaves your parched throat. You taste something on your lips. Wiping your mouth leaves a crimson stain on your hand. It's not the wine. What the fuck? The door of the apartment closes behind him, alone, again. And then the pain hits. It's a headache, a lurching in your stomach, a burning in your arms and legs. It's all you can focus on. A panic takes you. You fall from the sofa and hit a wine glass. It flies off into a wall, shattering into bits. A mumble from the corner of the room indicates that you're not as alone as you thought. From where you're lying, you see only a feminine shape stirring awake. You crawl towards the woman, inch by inch. The pain turns into an urge. You want, you need to get close to her. You begin to see details. The long hair shrouding her face, the worn-out NYC hoodie thrown over her skimpy dress. She opens her eyes, moves her locks to the side, exposes her neck. A rabid instinct takes you. In the blink of an eye, you find yourself buried in her hair, smelling her sweat, mixed with just a hint of cheap perfume. You bite down and drink the blood from her vein. Wait. What is happening? You break away. You look at the girl. She lets out a sigh, goes limp and unconscious again. You try to crawl back, her dress rolled up to the side, and you glance at her naked thigh. You lose control again. Bite her leg. Drink deep from the artery. It's intoxicating. It's a bliss you've never known before. It's beautiful. You break away again, fall to your back. What the hell was that? Did you really drink her blood? She's not moving. Oh God, she's not moving. You check her pulse. She's cold to the touch. Nothing, no heartbeat, no sign of breathing. And that's when it hits you. Your chest isn't moving either. Your heart's not beating. You're cold to the touch. You reach for your phone. It's not there. Where did you leave it? Maybe he took it. It's impossible to say. You stumble around the apartment, but find nothing you can use to call for help. You need to get out of here. Now. You look outside the window. You're high above the streets. There's no balcony. And the building's exterior is glass almost all the way down. You never survive the jump. But maybe that's precisely why you should leave the room this way. You've just killed somebody. Your life is essentially over. A sickening void is opening in your stomach, warning you that your reality is about to turn unto unbearable hell. A voice in the back of your head tells you that the smartest course of action is to take the leap before it does. And the more you argue with it, the more reasonable it sounds. You're just about ready to pick up one of the chairs and try to break the window when you hear the clicking of keys in the lock. You freeze in place. This is bad. Your thoughts start racing desperately, but instead of a rational course of action, only visions of false hope come to your mind. What if it's him? What if he's had a change of heart? What if he's sent someone for me? You almost feel your heart beat again with excitement as the doors open. Almost, but not quite. A man enters, but not the one you expected. He's tall, broad-shouldered, handsome, with darkish skin. His suit is stylish and immaculate. You've never seen him in your life. You immediately see past his sharp looks to see his sharper nature. He's a predator, and if you're not careful, you might become his prey. Good evening. I'm here to pick you up. A deep, emotionless voice, might be. He turns his eyes to the lifeless body of the girl in the NYC hoodie and raises an eyebrow. Oh, we get to pick things now. Who are you? Oh no. I thought they were just giving us an example of what the character would be. I didn't know we were actually picking. I should have come up with a more appropriate name. That's my bad. I'm the Ferryman. It'll take you to the other side. He approaches the bed to examine the corpse from up close. Well, this is unfortunate, but preferable to going insane from hunger. Quite a nice jest, actually, if troublesome. He briefly looks at you with something like pity in his eyes, then changes his expression to a perfectly blank one. Listen, you may perceive your current situation as something out of the ordinary, but I've met hundreds of lost sheep like you, and you see, they tended to fall into two categories. First, they're the smart ones. Those who carefully obeyed my every word and didn't pull off any stupid stunts. They always got where they needed to go, safe and sound. Then, there were the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on. The wise guys who tried to contact somebody secretly and without permission. The troublemakers who tried to run off or make a scene. None of them got to their destination in one piece. In fact, a lot of them never reached their destination at all. This is really interesting to see because I'm not as well versed in Masquerade as I am with Requiem, but the three tenets are the Masquerade, i.e., it's like Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club. You don't talk about vampire society. We're supposed to stay in the shadows. The second one is Progeny. Depending on where you're living and the prince that presides over it. Prince is a gender neutral term. It's just a label. Prince can absolutely be an NB, a lady, a dude, and everything in between. Each prince kind of has their own rules about how you can sire offspring. Child, there's a lot of different terms for it, but i.e. embrace another vampire. So this might have been completely and utterly against the law. So this is a very interesting thing for me because the sire just like walks the fuck off. And that's like, you are like legally obligated to take care of your child. And so this is a really interesting situation. Again, some areas and their princes have lax laws. They don't really care. You just kind of have to report it. And if you like get out of hand, that's one thing. But some princes will just kill you for siring another vampire. Oh, thank you. Merlin brought me boba. For just siring another vampire without permission. Like, just straight up, no questions asked. So, this is a big deal. This is really interesting. The man talks in a bored, professional tone, giving off an impression that he really has delivered this speech countless times by now. Maybe this person is like the sheriff of the area. So there's like the hierarchy. There's like the prince and then whatever like support structure they have, and then some way down the line there's like a sheriff that's more controlled with the area in like kind of like not police, but in a more active sense. Like the prince is governing from a high kind of hands-off scale, and the sheriff tends to be more involved. So maybe this is a sheriff or somebody who works for the sheriff. So you see, despite being a smart person, I'm a Mets fan. I love baseball, and it inspired me to come up with a 3 strikes system to determine if someone's dumb. If you get on my nerves 1 or 2 times, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful circumstances. But if you do it 3 times, understand that there will be no excuse, no forgiveness, no mercy. His presence changes ever so slightly. Say, I understand, sir. Now. Oh, you feel an overwhelming, barely resistible urge to fulfill his demand. Is this a use? Okay, so the dominance tree, this is again a Requiem shit. The dominance tree is more mind control. And so the first ability in that tree is mesmerize. I think I don't use dominance as much as I use majesty, but basically it works like suggestion, which is what I feel like this is. The 2 trees are kind of distinguished from one another because one is like coercing someone to do things by making them feel like they want to do it, and that's majesty. And then dominance is more legitimate mind control. So maybe that's what this is. And again, from a Requiem standpoint, not necessarily from Masquerade. I'm not familiar with their mechanics. Oh, okay. I feel like our non-binary individual is a little shook. We're gonna play this safe. I understand, sir. Excellent. Alright. Have you got anyone you'd like to inform about your current situation and tell them you're alright? He flashes his fangs briefly as he talks. And for some reason, the sight causes a chill to run down your spine. Something's wrong with him. Someone closest to you. Oh man. I'm worried now. Because it's like, do we contact our sister but run the risk of putting her in harm's way? I'm nervous. Like, what if this is an excuse to hurt someone who's close to us? But I mean, think I still want to play it safe. Because we do want our sister to know about what's happened to us. Maybe? I'm gonna have to go with my gut. I don't want to overthink it too much. Emma, my sister, she's probably having a night out in Brooklyn with a teased friends. Can I call her now? You take out your phone while asking the question. It was in your pocket all along. It must have been panic talking before. He shakes his head and points at the hooded corpse next to him. If you want to implicate her, go ahead. I think we'd all be better off if you let me make sure that she only knows what she needs to know. Yeah, agreed. Give me her phone number. I'll have someone get in touch with her. You oblige and hand in the smartphone so he can copy the number from your list of contacts. Thank you. Oh no! Oh no! This will be useful in illustrating my next point. Instead of giving you back your phone, the man hides it in his pocket. Alright. From this night onwards, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up with, and you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anyone know you're still alive. You are forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. And if anyone comes to search for you, it's over. Both for you and them. He interrupts his monotone recitation to stare deeply into your eyes. So if you don't want someone to find your poor sister's body in the Hudson River next week, cooperate. The sight of his fangs again, and another physical fight or flight response. I wonder if he's flexing his beast, which is a mechanic you can do that kind of like cows lesser vampires. You've played right into his hands, putting him in danger. I feel like this is what you would do, though, if you were a newborn. Like, you don't know the rules. It's called the rules of the Cacophony in Vampire the Requiem. I know there's it's got a different word for it in Masquerade. It's Camarilla, I think. I can only hope that you care for her enough not to do anything selfish. He's kind of just morphing into Professor Snape. I'm sorry. By now, you're absolutely sure he's just toying with you, provoking you just to feed on your reactions. He hasn't told you where you're going yet, but he's already made it abundantly clear that a lot of people struggled hard to avoid getting there. See, generations aren't a thing in Requiem, so I have no idea what that means. Right, we don't know what 𝒂𝒃 is. He's giving me some Ventrue vibes, but it's kind of hard to tell. You'd be far more eager to cooperate if he'd never raised the subject, but he made it a point to make you fear the unknown. He's pushing you, but to what end? Does he want to intimidate you into complete submission? Is he hoping you'd give him an excuse to get rid of you? I mean, maybe. Maybe he's testing you, forcing you to show what you're made of. Somehow he makes all of these options seem plausible at once. Alright, I think that's enough lectures for today. He takes a glance at his silver watch. It's a Patek Philippe, The kind of brand mere mortals never see outside of luxury lifestyle magazines. Ventru. Just who are you dealing with here? It's past 3 a.m. now. The sun won't come up in just a few hours, so we don't have much time. Come. We need to leave so that the corpse can be taken care of. He turns his back on you to unlock the door. Attack him from the back? Oh, no. None of these are good. Did you not hear, babe? I'm gonna do what I'm told for the moment. Okay. You obediently follow him out of the room. Before he locks it again, you manage to take a final glimpse of the corpse. You feel a pang of conscience, but not because of your victim's horrible fate. It's because you don't even feel guilty, even though you know you should. Something important inside of you that was still there yesterday has definitely died tonight. You wonder if you'd even recognize yourself in the mirror. The stranger shows you to the elevator. You go to the ground floor. During an awkward ride, your dazed and confused mind desperately searches for a glimmer of hope, and eventually comes across one. Maybe you'll find the man you met earlier this night. Oh no. So, if Masquerade works similar to Requiem in this respect, when you feed on the blood of other vampires, you form what's called a blood bond, and it forms a sort of connection. It's somewhat of subservience. You form kind of, at least the way the Devas work, because they all work differently. They work the same with different flavors, right? Different aesthetics. The Devas, because the Devas are very seductive and alluring, and they focus on charm and enticing their victims. When they form a blood bond, it's kind of like a puppy love crush, and you just think about them all the time. You want to text them, ask them what they're doing, send them selfies, and ask to hang out, and you just, it's kind of like awe. You want to do things with them and be around them and do things for them. So that's probably what's going on here, if it works the same as Requiem. All right. I think this is the most pressing question. Where did that man target me? What was their move? That's what I'd like to know. As of yet... Oh, shit! He is unidentified. They left no trace, and it's obviously not planning to come back for you. Oh, so this probably is... Okay, so I don't know which clan is ruling New York. Probably the Ventru? I feel like it's a very Ventru kind of city to rule. So this could definitely be like some kind of sheriff operative or something. Somebody that's employed by the prince to go and pick up newborns who've been like left abandoned, which I think is also illegal. You can't just like abandon your child. Like, you're legally obligated to care for them and teach them, if you've even gone about creating one legally. It's a big deal. If, and that is a big if, you ever see them again, it will be tomorrow, and probably for the last time. Yeah, I'm not stupid enough to have this man just, like, break me in half like a toothpick. What do you mean? The last time? His face is inscrutable. I said what I said. All I can add for now is... tomorrow is a big night for you. Ah, shit. They're probably gonna pull us in front of the prince if they can track this man down and decide whether or not we even get to live. Ironically enough, I may or may not have actually done this and lived through this scenario in our Vampire the Requiem game. So, my Deva got attached to one of the individuals in her harem. That's the Deva's curse, right? If you drink too often from somebody, you, like, develop a crush obsession with them. And it's very bad. That's not good. And she was on that edge, if not already there. So Bella and Aiden are married, right? But Belle's a Deva. Also polyamory. Perfectly valid. And Aiden is annoyed by Marco, is the individual in question. And so Aiden's ghoul kills Marco. Cold blood. Overdoses him on heroin. So Marco will stop annoying Aiden. But Belle finds out that Marco is dead. They literally find his body. And without thinking better of her actions, she turns him. Because in Requiem, at least, if the body is still warm, you can still turn them as if they were alive. It's only once the body has gotten cold that you have to work with what's called revenant mechanics for that. But we don't need to talk about that. So she turns him, right? Marco, who's now her child. Note, she did not ask for permission. Now, thankfully, she's dating the prince of the area. So that factors in a little bit to the fact that he let her live, but not before not before showing up at Velvet Death the next night and like being like, what the absolute fuck? And like basically that was the moment that we're about to go have, and she had to basically in not so many words beg for their lives, for Marco's life and for her own life, because she had created another vampire without permission. Now, thankfully, it was an extenuating circumstance and an emergency, and they did need Marco, because Marco had information, or was able to lead them to information that was very important in determining who and how a group of individuals was trying to attack the prince. So, because that was in play, the prince let them live. But was really lucky. I rolled very well for that encounter and was able to stay alive. So, I don't know if we're gonna be in similarly lucky circumstances here, though. The elevator opens to an empty hall. You walk outside, past the night guard's post, which is empty. The cold night air reminds you of the balcony, just a few hours ago. The man motions to a black Cadillac Escalade. This is so ironic, because whenever the prince is doing anything in our game, he has a black fucking Escalade. He actually has 4 of them that he runs around in an entourage. Take a seat in the back, please. You get inside. The man closes the car door behind you. You hear a click as it locks. The Cadillac is almost entirely dark. The side windows seem light-proof. Can you actually do that as a mechanic in the game? Can you make the windows, like, UV impenetrable? I'm gonna have to look that up now. That's very important. The man gets into the driver's seat, starts the engine, and drives away without comment. Yeah, I think this is the only one that feels reasonable. He's not going to give a shit about the other two. Where are you taking me? A safe place. Forgive me, I'm not in a talkative mood. This won't be a long drive. Patience. Dead silence fills the car. You close your eyelids and sink back into your thoughts. A blurry afterimage of the man who bought your painting is still there. It's strange. You've never felt this way about anyone. It makes you happy, even though you have the nagging thought that there is something fundamentally abusive about this attraction. That's the dark part of the Deva. Or Toreador in this instance. But then the girl's hair spilled over the purple hoodie, and her blood spilled over the cold floor comes into sharp focus. You wince. You want to cry, but it's as if there were no more tears left in you. After what feels like an eternity, the car comes to a stop. You get out at an underground parking lot. It's an ugly, concrete gray thing. Empty, but for the car you came in. It, looks like there's a room beyond a metal door in the wall. Guess you will live to see another night. Follow me. He opens the middle door and lets you inside. Here we are. These are your lodgings for tonight. If you get hungry again, take a look in the fridge. Tomorrow, I will come pick you up. The cramped room has no windows. Just a simple bed, a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling, a small humming fridge, and a rattling AC fan in the wall. It has all the coziness of a solitary prison cell. You notice claw marks on the inner side of the entrance door. I don't think we're going to tell him no. But we might try to beg him. I don't know why we would need medical help. I know we probably feel bad. But I think we know that something's fucky here and we're in over our head. You gotta have some mercy, man. Let me go. Mercy? Mercy, no. Too late for that. Listen. Normally, I'd lose my nerve right about now, and things would get nasty. But I get it. You're scared. You don't understand what happened. Trust me, you will learn more tomorrow, but now I need you to rest. And you need you to rest. He gestures inside the room. Oh. Yeah, the UV blocking stuff would be just for like vampire, the Requiem / Masquerade mechanics. Because if I can in-game get my car done up that way, that would be really fucking cool. Yes, I also bought Shadows of New York. I bought, well, technically Merlin. Merlin bought all of them. So we might just very well go on a binge. We'll have to see. Finding no more willpower to resist. Jesus, this place looks terrible. He wasn't fucking kidding about it looking like a cell. You step inside. The stranger nods contently. Good night. He locks the door behind you. It looks very secure and sturdy. You open the fridge. There's a single plastic bag there. Only one? Filled with red liquid. Unlabeled. Tomato soup? You feel sick to your stomach. Best leave it for now. You lie down on the bed. It's a simple mattress on a metal frame. Kind of grimy and damp. Seeing it makes you grimace, but you're just too tired not to lie down. Your entire body hurts. A dull feeling that makes you feel heavy. You feel vulnerable and lonely. Usually when that happened, you'd turn your attention to painting, just to not think about the alternative. Your family upbringing left you with no skills but artistic talent. Creating art used to be something of an unpleasant duty. But somewhere along the line, though, it became the only weapon you had to fight with existential despair. Some of your best work was created in lieu of impotently crying in bed. Hell, you're pretty sure a few of those pieces had your tears mixed in with the paint. Like the painting that led your whole night to this. You look back at your life, and it starts looking like a downward spiral. You're so tired. Your entire body tenses up, and before you know it, you drift into oblivion. I hope that each and every one of you has a wonderful rest of your day or night, whatever time it is, wherever you are. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. For more content, you can check out these videos, or my stream on Twitch, or cosplay on Instagram, or my OnlyFans. All the links are in the description. Have a great rest of your day. Hey guys, don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, consider letting me know. Leave a like, subscribe, or even become a Patreon. Okay, thanks, bye.